This week I read a book by Deepak Chopra called The Fire in the Soul. It's actually a teen guide to spirituality, but I'm not proud to say that it was a challenging book for me, and I would recommend it to any adult. Fire in the Heart. I'm sorry, I said the wrong title. Fire in the Heart is the name of the book. And a lot of the stories I'm going to share today come out of the teachings in that book. One of the things that Deepak Chopra says is that we can relate to the spirit kind of like we do to the sun. We can see the sun there. If we're outside laying in a field, we look up, we see the sun. But if we cover our eyes with our hands, we can't really see the sun. We still know it's there. But we can live our whole lives like that, covering up, not seeing it. Or we can kind of see it a little bit through something, shield ourselves, or we can look at it directly. And that third way of relating to spirit is the most exciting and joyful adventure that we can possibly have. So if spirit is within us and available to us, why do we sometimes feel really lonely, lost, and cut off from spirit? In this passage of Scripture, Jesus is saying goodbye to his friends, to his companions. He's saying goodbye and saying, I'm going, but I'm not going. My leaving will enable me to be with you in a more powerful way, to be united and connected with you even more than I am right now. My spirit will be with you if you love me, it says. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And those who keep my commandments are those who love me. Now notice it doesn't say, if you love me, you'll never make a mistake and you'll always do everything perfectly according to my teachings. And it doesn't say, only those who do everything perfectly and never make a mistake love me. No. The emphasis is on those who love. Those who love Jesus will be connected. The Spirit of Christ will be with them and inside them. He's emphasizing again something he did in all of his teachings, which is that the things he was doing weren't really things he was doing at all. They were God working through him. And here he's saying, you will continue my mission. And it won't really be you at all. It'll be me working through you. And so it'll be God working through you. This God is inside of you. In classical theology, there's always been this contradiction or this contrast, I guess, between the immanent sense of God and the transcendent sense of God. Sometimes when we think about God, we think about this mystery that is beyond, so big, incomprehensible, out there somehow, beyond us. That's the transcendent God that transcends everything we can see. The immanent aspect of God is God present in everything, in the flame, inherent in the tree, inherent in rocks and people and relationships, present with us everywhere, like the fish swimming in the water, the immanent sense of God. And both of those aspects of God are aspects that we can relate to. Sometimes we may really feel God's presence with us, God's strength, God's Spirit, as if Jesus is walking with us in life. And other times we may feel a desire for something beyond what we're able to experience right now, and a hope and a belief in something so mysterious that we can't explain it or even point to it or see it in that way. So what do we mean when we say things like, Jesus is with us here and now? It's kind of a mystical heart way of talking, isn't it? If Jesus is with us here and now and we experience him in that way as a reality in our lives, in the world, then why can't everyone experience that? Shouldn't we be trying to get everyone to experience that? On the other hand, there may be a sense in which some people are given a calling of loving Jesus and others are given a different kind of calling. This scripture talks about those who love me receive my Spirit, but it doesn't say that other people have no connection with Spirit at all. There's a passage in the scripture that talks about God's truth being multifaceted, being so multifaceted that it's mysterious. Like, you know what a diamond is like when it's cut in a certain way so it's multifaceted and light just sprays out of it, sparkling in every way? But each little pane of the crystal of the diamond is one surface. And if we could look at it with clear enough eyes, we would see one little color in that aspect of the diamond. Maybe God is kind of like that. We see one aspect when we experience the presence of Jesus or a love and appreciation of Jesus. But if God's truth is so multifaceted, no doubt there are many, many other things that we don't see. And that's okay, because our connection can still be clear and strong through our love of the Christ. There's a story about a rich man's possessions talking to each other one day when the rich man was gone. He had a gold ring, and it started out the conversation. The gold ring said, "I am the most precious possession that the rich man has, because I am worth a great deal, and a lot of effort was put into my creation." And then a necklace responded, "Oh no, I'm much more complex than you are. I am made of gold, and it took the workers much longer to make me with all my intricacies." And then a gold watch said, "Actually, I'm the most valuable of all, because not only am I more complicated, but I'm also more useful than any of the other possessions." And just then, a grandfather clock in the corner chimed in and said, "You're all wrong. Don't you see? You're all the same thing. You're all made out of gold. What you are is gold, and you all have the same value." There's a sense in which all of life is spirit, and every person is, in essence, God's spirit. We may feel kind of a humility or a shyness, like, well, I don't want to claim that. Like, a really good person reflects God's Spirit, and I can see God's Spirit in them, but not me. But in a way, it would be like somebody saying to you, "You've got 5 fingers." You don't say, "Oh yeah, I do." It's not something you're proud of, something you accomplished. It's just the way you are, the way you were made, the way your DNA came to you in the universe. The same thing with Jesus saying, God's Spirit is in you. It's not something that you pulled off or that you take credit for, but it is something that you can be grateful for and take joy in.